Hey, it's been a while. It's also been a while since I've done a before video on this channel, and I missed them. In fact, my first real video on the channel was before Dandadan. I like to use this series as an opportunity for myself to look back at some of my favorite mangaka who made some of my favorite manga, to learn more about their humble beginnings and the work before they made it big. All the previous mangaka that I've covered, I've at least read their most recent work and just worked backwards from there. This time I wanted to use this video as an excuse to read something completely new. That's right, if you've seen the thumbnail of this video and read the title, I still have not read Kagurabachi. Most current manga fans recognize the title without even reading a chapter due to the strange amount of hype and build-up the series got before it was even released. Some people were memeing, of course. Okay, a lot of people were memeing, but those memes fueled genuine anticipation for the series. And since then, more chapters have come out, enough chapters to make a volume 1, and when said volume 1 went on sale, it was so popular it received reprints just 4 days after its initial release. Kagurabachi also made a Jump history by being the first manga to get an animated chapter on the Shonen Jump YouTube channel dubbed in English, which of course is due to its worldwide popularity.
Kagurabachi.
But I mean, Rent a Girlfriend is popular too. Is Kagurabachi actually good enough to be so deserving of all this hype? And I'll get to my thoughts on the manga later, but that's not what today's video is only about. Kagurabachi is far from the author Takeru Hakazono's first manga, and today I want to talk about their manga and their journey that led them to create their first weekly serialization. Welcome to Before Kagurabachi. Like most mangaka, not a lot is known about Takeru Hakazono's personal life. I mean, for all we know, he's just a very talented duck. Okay, I actually love mangakas, fun little doodles they use to represent themselves, like Himuro Arakawa's cow, or Yoshifumi's hat friend, and now Takeru's duck. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with duck for this one. We do know, however, that Hakazono actually started their manga journey during the pandemic. At the age of just 19, he started manga making while society was basically on pause, kind of the perfect time to hone a new skill, to be honest. I have to imagine this wasn't the first time he picked up a pencil, but rather the first time taking manga seriously. And it didn't take long for his work to get noticed. Enten follows two young martial artists, En and Talma. In this world, when you master martial arts, you awaken a spiritual beast, which allows the user to use special powers and push the limits of martial arts. En is a talented martial artist who has unlocked his spiritual beast, and Talma, let's just say he's got a little ways to go. I mean, all of the students at this martial arts academy do. En is the only one here besides their teacher that has unlocked the spiritual beast ability. Unlike the other classmates though, Talma doesn't see En as a boy blessed from the heavens, but a rival he wants to keep up with and surpass. Talma knows the work En put in to get there, and respects Talma's drive and sees him as a rival too, despite their gap in skill. The two definitely have the classic shonen rival dynamic, the gifted one and the underdog hard worker. And it feels classic shonen for a reason. We found in a recent interview that Hakazono absolutely loves Naruto. Kagurabachi editor Takeru Imamura thinks Naruto's influence is pretty obvious in Hakazono's earlier works, and I gotta say, I agree. I mean, their personalities are similar, but even down to the designs, these are just Naruto and Sasuke. The story, it feels like a story you would create to prove you can create a story, you know what I mean? It follows the basics of a good beginning, middle, and end, but without doing anything interesting that would warrant more from it. Despite what I may think about the story, Hakazono received a reward for Enten when he submitted to the Tezuka Awards in 2020, where big mangaka like Akira Toriyama, Kohei Horikoshi, and Eiichiro Oda were judges. This recognition allowed Takeru Hakazono to submit Enten to be published in Jump Giga alongside his second one-shot. Farewell Cherry Boy felt a little awkward and disjointed when I first started reading it. It follows this innocent orphan kid who gets taken in by the Yakuza. He does odd jobs for them like getaway driver, and from time to time he does hit and runs on pub prosecutors like this poor guy. He doesn't mind though because they treat him well and they praise him for a job well done. At the end of the day, he's just an innocent little guy who likes to talk to girls. And when he does manage to get himself a girlfriend, he's smitten. And when she wants to treat him to a little visit to a love hotel, bro can't say no. And that's great and all, but like I said, the manga feels a little awkward. It bounces around a lot. Like a couple of pages ago, we were doing hit and runs. Then we briefly started to learn about the Yakuza family he was a part of. Now we've got this romance thing going on. We're being introduced to a lot of elements really fast, but whatever. Let's just check in on these lovebirds and see what's going on. Boo. That surprised me. A bear. You picked it up from around here? Do you know of love? What? Do you know how cruel a human can become once that is stolen? What are you saying? This is the story of my revenge. The main character, it's me. Oh shit, okay, that's why the story was feeling so weird. Bro wasn't even the main character. And the public prosecutor from earlier, that was her boyfriend, who saved her from an empty life as an assassin. What follows is a revenge story of an assassin who put down her guns when she was saved by love and only has to pick them up again one more time to enact revenge on those who took that love from her. I mentioned N-Ten and Cherry Boy released in the same issue of Jump Giga in spring 2021. But since N-Ten won the 2020 Tezuka Award, we know that there is at least a year apart between the creation of these works. And you can really tell. You can see it in the character's anatomy, especially in the hands. Hokuzono is currently 23 years old, which means when he was just 20, he won the Tezuka Award. Not the youngest up-and-coming author I've covered on the channel, but still impressive. To see such improvement in the span of a year shows how hard he's working to develop his skills. And while I do think his art has improved quite a bit since N-Ten, his stories so far really haven't hooked me yet. The summer of the same year, Hokuzono would appear in the pages of Jump Giga again. Hokuzono was really hitting the ground running trying to get his manga career off the ground, and we know of course he didn't stop here, but let's take a look at what's next. Chain follows Kuro and Kaoru, shinobi in modern society. Of course, the way of shinobi has changed since the Sengoku era, and ninjas today serve the military in return for some moolah. And today, Kuro and Kaoru are about to get their next assignment. We wanted to head to the mission right away. We're fine standing, so quickly explain the matter. Hey, Kuro! Here you go. Thank you very much. If you're my buddy, then stand with me! I've never seen someone who drinks hot tea like that. Oh. Do you have hamburgers? Of course they don't, you damn fatty! Makes sense they don't have any. Forget about that meat sack. Just hurry up and explain the matter. Here's your hamburger. Oh yeah! They're tasked to take down a Yakuza that's running amok. Said Yakuza has already taken down the police blade squad, an elite police force equipped with blades, but they were no match because the Yakuza is no regular guy. He is shinobi too. So the only ones who have a chance are Kuro and Kaoru. And when they do track him down, a battle breaks out where Kaoru gets to let loose. The action feels really fun and well done. There's no arguing that he has improved once again, but again, the story feels very uninteresting to me. The Yakuza's goal for killing the police blade squad was just because he wanted to. He's the type of antagonist who doesn't have a goal aside from just having a challenging fight. And while that can be done well, this character is done within this chapter. I immediately no longer see this guy as a genuine threat. And the heroes themselves are not very engaging either. Their goals are just as simple. Do odd jobs, get money. When Hokuzono returned, he would switch magazines and show up with a new one-shot in Weekly Shonen Jump issue 19 in 2022. This one-shot would be considerably shorter than their previous works with only 15 pages. Madagiwa de Amu, or Knitting by the Window, tells a story of a student named Oda-kun. Unfortunately, he's the next victim of any manga's most recurring villain, high school bullies. Oda's deskmate Yamagishi seems to be the only one who really cares. 1 month goes by, and as it goes, Oda begins to develop feelings for his shy deskmate. Yamagishi's special day comes around, and to thank her for her kindness, Oda gets her a birthday gift. He knit her a misigana. A misigana is basically a friendship bracelet. You channel your wishes into it, and someday when the misigana breaks, it's said that that day will be the day your wish will come true. Yamagishi shares that Oda also helped her too. After becoming friends with him, she became more motivated to come to school each day. Don't look now, but it looks like a love confession is about to happen. Oh my, oh my, oh my. It's like that? The bullies return and punish Oda for not doing their homework, leaving Yamagishi feeling helpless as all she can do is watch and plead. Until her misigana breaks. Yamagishi-san, why do you have a gun? It tore. The Misagana tore. It granted my wish. The good luck charm. The Misagana gave me the power to fulfill my wish. Your wish? Listen, I don't support violence, and school shootings are a real frickin' problem, but based Yamagishi. She is absolutely facing life in prison after this, though. She's a real ride or die kind of girl. As far as twists go, Gun was not the one I was expecting when reading this manga. Knitting by the Window and Farewell Cherry Boy definitely displayed Takuro Hakazono's preference for violent and hopeless stories, while Anten and Chain felt a bit more classic shonen. Hakazono would release his last one-shot before Kagurabachi in Weekly Shonen Jump issue 36. It's a revenge story, and the main character makes a deal with a demon to acquire powers to enact said revenge. The panels in this one-shot are badass, I gotta admit, but again, the story, man, it's not there for me. I'm willing to admit that I'm the crazy one here, because I think Hakazono must have been doing something right besides his amazing artwork to be showing up in Weekly Shonen Jump and Jump Giga so often over the past 3 years. But now we finally made it to Kagurabachi, so finally I'll know for sure if Takuro's storytelling is my speed or not. Kagurabachi definitely feels like the culmination of everything Hakazono has done over the past 4 years. We know he loves revenge stories based on the multiple one-shots he's done based on that setup. Kagurabachi's revenge tale feels like his strongest yet because we're allowed to get to know the characters a bit more. They're built up so when they are taken away, we are more attached to them if they were taken too soon. His characters in Kagurabachi are just more engaging in general too. Kinoshige is a fun character with funny quirks like his silly shirts and faces, but he's a genuine father and hard worker that cares for his swordsmithing craft. Chihiro is such a likable main character. He's effortlessly cool and badass without being an ass. He's kind, polite, and cares for his friends and family. Char is adorable as fuck. Kagurabachi's characters have better motivations and goals compared to Hakazono's previous cast and his one-shots too, not to mention the world feels large and fascinating. From the war, and groups like the Canobi and the mystery of the Hisaku. There's also the anticipation I feel to see the power of each of the 6 enchanted blades and, of course, their sorcery. Sorcery has such an unsettling beauty to it. It can be badass, beautiful, and terrifying. Which brings me to the action. To me, Kagurabachi feels like such an incredible improvement. Action feels fluid, dynamic, and forgive me for using this word so often, but it applies to a lot of Kagurabachi. It's badass. I find it really difficult to find a better word to describe these panels. Hakazono has a great hold on building anticipation and generating a tense atmosphere before an intense fight breaks out, which only generates more hype in me when I'm reading these chapters. In the end, I think Kagurabachi finally blends Hakazono's awesome art with an intriguing story. Kagurabachi has an active community of fans that show up to support. In the most recent issue of Weekly Shonen Jump, Kagurabachi has placed at number 5 in the table of contents. Essentially, the higher you are in the table of contents, it usually tends to reflect how popular a given series is. So being numbered 5 is pretty good. Kagurabachi also has such a fun, active community of fan artists, making incredible illustrations, shitposts, and thirst traps. Like a lot of thirst traps. Is Kagurabachi a secret BL? I don't know, all of this just seems so unexpected for a manga so fresh. But despite his earlier work not hitting with me, I think Kagurabachi does deserve the love it's received, and I still think Hakazono's rapid improvement was because of his drive to make manga better than his last. I think Kagurabachi is great so far, but I imagine that Hakazono only wants it to get better, and I can't wait for next week's chapter.